Hare Krishna. So I'd like to welcome all of you for Saturday program. Welcome. Parmataji. So many years. So today we'll be hearing from His Grace Vedavyāsapriya Prabhu. So Prabhuji will be talking about absolute faith. So yeah, over to Prabhuji.
Go in mind. After the class. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Rama Rama.
Rama Rama.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Do someone want to sing Jai Radha Madhav, please? Anjana Mataji, do you want to sing?
I think if someone else can also join me, I can say I can not practice. I'm not practice.
I'll give it on screen.
If someone else can sing.
Yeah. Okay. This mic.
This mic on me? Okay.
Hare Krishna.
I remember. Lyrics, Mataji. Locked. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Yashodanandana Vrija
Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vrija
Yashodanandana Vraja Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Jaya
Jaya
Radha
Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So today we'll read from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 3. In this 72 edition, the page number is 939. $448. So please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 3. Ashradana danaha
Ashradana
purusha
Purusha
dharmasya
Dharmasyasya
asya.
Yasya.
Okay, let's recite the verse. I don't want to go word for word. Sorry about that. Okay, let's. I will recite the verse and then you can repeat after me. Ashradana dana purusha
Ashradana Purusha
dharmasyasya parantapa
Dharmasyasya Parantapa
apaprimam nivartante
Aprapyamam Nivartante
mrityu samsara vatmani.
Mrityu Samsara Vartmani
Ashradana dana purusha
Ashradana Purusha
dharmasyasya parantapa
Dharmasyasya Parantapa
apaprimam nivartante
Aprapyamam Nivartante
mrityu samsara vatmani.
Mrityu Samsara Vartmani
Ashradana dana purusha
Ashradana Purusha
dharmasyasya parantapa
Dharmasyasya Parantapa
apaprimam nivartante
Aprapyamam Nivartante
mrityu samsara vatmani.
Mrityu Samsara Vartmani
Ashraddhana Purusha
Ashradana Purusha
Dharmasyasya Parantapa
Dharmasyasya Parantapa
Aprapyamam Nivartante
Aprapyamam Nivartante
Mrityu Samsara Vartmani
Mrityu Samsara Vartmani Ashradana Purusha
Ashradana purusha
Dharmasyasya Parantapa
dharmasyasya parantapa
Aprapyamam Nivartante
apaprimam nivartante
Mrityu Samsara Vartmani
mrityu samsara vatmani.
अश्रद्धदधानः पुरुषः
Ashradana purusha
धर्मस्यास्य परन्तप
Dharmasyasya Parantapa
अप्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते
Aprapyamam Nivartante
मृत्यु संसारवर्त्मनि
Mrityu Samsara Vartmani
अश्रद्धधाना पुरुषा
Ashradana Purusha
धर्मस्यास्य परन्तप
Dharmasyasya Parantapa
अप्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते
Aprapyamam Nivartante
मृत्यु संसारवर्त्मनि
Mrityu Samsara Vartmani
Ashradana purusha
Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapyamam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani
Ashradana,
Ashradana
those who are faithless.
Those who are faithless
Purusha,
Purusha
such persons.
Such persons
Dharmasya,
Dharmasya
of the process of religion.
of this process of
Asya,
Asya
of it.
of it
Parantapa,
Parantapa
O killer of the enemies.
O killer of the enemies
Aprapriya,
Aprapya
without obtaining.
without obtaining
Mam,
me
Nivartante,
Nivartante
come back.
come back
Mrityu,
Mrityu
death.
death
Samsara,
Samsara
material existence.
material existence
Vatmani,
Vartmani
on the path of.
of the path of
Translation and purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Gita Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Those who are not faithful on the path of devotional service cannot attain me, O controller of force, but return to birth and death in this material world. Purport. The faithless cannot accomplish the process of devotional service. That is the purport of this verse. Faith is created by association with devotees. Unfortunate people even after hearing all the evidence of Vedic literature from great personalities, still have no faith in God. They are hesitant and cannot stay fixed in devotional service of the Lord. Thus, faith is a most important factor for progress in Krishna consciousness. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that one should have complete conviction that simply by serving the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, he can achieve all perfection. That is called real faith. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 3.4.12, it is stated that by giving water to the root of the tree, its branches, twigs, and leaves become satisfied, and by supplying food to the stomach, all the senses of the body become satisfied. And similarly, by engaging in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, all the demigods and all the living entities automatically become satisfied. After reading Bhagavad Gita, one should promptly come to the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. One should give up all other engagements and adopt the service of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, personality of Godhead. If one is convinced of this philosophy of life, that is faith. Now, the development of that faith is a process of Krishna consciousness. There are three divisions of Krishna conscious men. In the third class, there are those who have no faith. If they are engaged in devotional service officially for some ulterior purpose, they cannot achieve the highest perfectional stage. Most probably, they will slip after some time. They may become engaged, but because they haven't complete conviction and faith, it is very difficult for them to continue in Krishna consciousness. We have practical experience in discharging our missionary activity that some people come and apply themselves to Krishna consciousness with some hidden motive, and as soon as they are economically a little well situated, they give up this process and take to their old ways again. It is only by faith that one can advance in Krishna consciousness. As far as the development of faith is concerned, one who is well versed in the literatures of devotional service and has attained the stage of firm faith is called first class person in Krishna consciousness. And in the second class are those who are not very advanced in understanding the devotional scriptures, but who automatically have firm faith that Krishna Bhakti or service to Krishna is the best course, and so in good faith have taken it up. Thus, they are superior to the third class who have neither perfect knowledge of the scriptures nor good faith, but by association and simplicity they are trying to follow. The third class person in Krishna consciousness may fall down, but when one is in the second class or the first class, it does not fall down. One in the first class will surely make progress and achieve the result at the end. As far as the third class person in Krishna consciousness is concerned, although he has faith in the conviction that devotional service to Krishna is very good, he has no knowledge of Krishna through scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes these third class persons in Krishna consciousness have some tendency towards karma yoga and jnana yoga, and sometimes they are disturbed. But as soon as the infection of karma yoga or jnana yoga is vanquished, they become second class or first class persons in Krishna consciousness. Faith in Krishna is also divided in three stages and described in Srimad Bhagavatam. The first class attachment, second class attachment, third class attachment are also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 11th canto. Those who have no faith, even after hearing about Krishna and the excellence of devotional service, who think that it is simply eulogy, find the path very difficult, even if they are supposedly engaged in devotional service. For them, there is very little hope in gaining perfection. Thus, faith is very important in the discharge of devotional service. Om Adhyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Sakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Srapadantikam Vandegam Sri Guru Sri Yudaya Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagarjatam Sarguna Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijani Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sarguna Lalita Sri Vichakamatamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Krish Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosade Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavane Vishabhanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpadaru Vasha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Paditanam Pavane Bhyo Vaishmane Bhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radha Sri Vasi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhagavate Srimade Bhakti-Vikas-Swami Namani Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhagavate Srimade Bhakti-Vikas-Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurani Charni Vishesh Shunyapati Bhasha Ashadadana Purusha Dharmasya Parantapa Aprapremam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vatmani. Those who are not faithful on the path of devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of foes, but return to the birth and death in this material world. So I think like last week we had a discussion about faith by Akash Prabhu. Let's see, he left. That's okay. So was that about faith, right? Yeah, I mean, I wasn't here, so I thought like I would continue on the same theme. It's a rhetorical question. I'm sorry to have a rhetorical question. Am I really faithful in Krishna Bhakti? If so, how much faith I have? So that will be our discussion today. Because Krishna, in the 9th chapter, he starts speaking about the most confidential knowledge. And he gives the introduction in the most confidential knowledge, saying that this is so sweet, this is the purest of pure and all those things. But the next verse he starts speaking about people who don't believe in those, devotional service or the most confident in knowledge, what's going to happen to them. Because the reason is we might be one among them who might not may superficially believe, and deep inside if you scratch and see how much faith we have, it's a big question. So for us, if we are really faithful, Krishna have a path set for us. But if our faith is kind of a little flickering and very superficial, so Krishna says it's Mrityu Samsara Vatmani. We have to come back here again in the path of birth and death in the material world. First of all, let's see what faith is. What is faith? English dictionary says complete trust and confidence in someone or something. Complete trust and confidence. You should not even have a 1% or 0.1% doubt about what somebody is saying. That is called faith. And in Nectar of Instruction, text 5, Prabhupada writes that Bhagavad Gita, when spoken by Krishna to Arjun had complete faith in the words of Krishna. Arjun accepted everything. Sarvam etat kritam manye. That's what he saw. He said after listening to Bhagavad Gita, it was just 40-45 minutes that Krishna and Arjun was conversing. And after that, he decided, okay, this is right, and whatever you told is correct. 45 minutes, okay? Remember how many Bhagavad Gita classes have we heard in this, this lifetime? So many Bhagavad Gita classes, so many Bhagavad Gita slokas and everything we have been reciting, but we are not saying Sarvam etat kritam manye. We are not saying whatever you told Krishna is true, whatever you told Krishna is correct. But we are kind of attached to so many other things and think that, Krishna is saying something, but let me believe in certain things, let me not believe. We won't say we're not believing, but we will always say we believe because we might, be afraid that Krishna will get, angry or something like that. And then we say superficially, we say, okay, I believe in everything. But how does the belief comes, like the commitment that we put to the words of Krishna? That's how the belief is so strong, the faith is so strong. Faith is directly proportional to the commitment that we have for the devotional service to Krishna. So, complete trust means Prabhupada writes that in that verse in Nectar of Instruction, Arjun did not take portion of Bhagavad Gita. He did not say, I will take this because I like this one. I don't want to take this, I do not like this one. The conclusion of Bhagavad Gita says, abandon all kinds of activities and surrender unto me. So that's what Arjun did. Immediately he started fighting. All his confusion disappeared and he followed what Krishna told him to do. So that is what faith is, absolute faith is. And there is one little story. We usually say this story to the kids, but it's also applicable to adults like us because we are all kids of Krishna. So there was a Brahmana who was very strict in practicing whatever he is supposed to practice. He was very he was a Pakka Brahmin, so he was doing all that he is supposed to do. And one day Narad Muni, walks, around, his ashram or somewhere, and he happens to see Narad Muni, and the Brahmana is asking, "Hey Narad Muni, where are you going?" And Narad Muni says, "I'm going to Vaikuntha to see the Lord." "Oh, you're going to Vaikuntha? Will you ask Krishna that, when will I come back to, Vaikuntha? Because I'm doing everything perfectly as Krishna told me to do in the scriptures, and I'm following everything. And please ask Krishna, when will I get back to Vaikuntha?" Okay, Narad Muni says, "Okay, I'll try to ask you and come back and let you know." On the way back, a few miles away, after passing this Brahmana ashram, he sees a small cobbler, a poor cobbler. He was stitching the shoes and everything. And then the cobbler, pays respects to Narad Muni and offers a seat and asks, "What do you want to, I don't have anything to give, but I can give something, whatever I have, And Narad Muni is saying, I'm very pleased with the cobbler. And Narad Muni is saying, I'm going to Vaikuntha, do you want to ask anything from the Lord? And the cobbler says, "Okay, I don't have anything to ask from Lord, but if you feel like something, you ask some question, with the Lord for me." And Narad Muni says, "Okay, I will ask the Lord, when will you go back to Vaikuntha from here?" Cobbler says, "Okay." Then Narad Muni goes to Vaikuntha and says pays obeisances to Lord, and the Lord asks how things are and where are you coming from. And Narad Muni says I met a Brahmana who I have a question for you and he wants an answer from you. So what's the question? Narad Muni says the Brahmana wants to know when he will come back here to Vaikuntha. And Lord says who else did you meet? Because the Lord knows everything, because he is situated in everyone's heart, right? So Narad Muni says okay, I met a cobbler, I cannot cheat you. I met a cobbler, and on behalf of him, I'm asking the same question: when will he be, coming back to Vaikuntha? Okay, the Lord says now, okay, go back to each of them and tell that the Brahmana will not come back to Vaikuntha, but the cobbler will come back to Vaikuntha. And then Narad Muni does the same thing, but Narad Muni, I have another question, why are you saying this? Brahmana is perfectly doing everything. Lord says, Lord's a big trickery, he always tricks everyone, right? So Lord says, when they ask you a question, tell them that I am trying to put an elephant in the eye of a needle. Elephant in the eye of a needle. Okay, so the Narad Muni goes to Brahmana, and Brahmana was is a little puffed up because doing everything and things like that. And he asks "Hey Narad Muni, you find an answer from the Lord?" And Narad Muni says, "Yes, I found the answer from the Lord." And the Lord said, "You will never go back to Vaikuntha." What? Narad Muni is you're lying. You never went to Vaikuntha and you have never met the Lord. I know who goes to Vaikuntha, who can meet Lord and who can answer the question. You never went there. Okay, hey, I went to Vaikuntha and came back. Straight away I'm coming back to meet you to tell what Lord told you to do. What Lord told me. Then okay, if you want to prove that you are from Vaikuntha, now please tell me what Lord was doing. That's the question of Brahmana. Okay, Narad Muni now, this is what Krishna knows will happen, so he gave me the right thing to do. So he says Lord was so busy putting the elephant in the eye of the needle. And then the Brahmana says, "What? You know, an elephant so big and eye of the angel is so small, and Lord is trying to put that in the, doesn't make sense to me at all. And I completely, very confident that you never went to Vaikuntha, never saw the Lord. And then, there's some conversation, the Brahmana goes away, then the, Nagmuni comes to Cobbler, and the Cobbler asks like, come on Nagmuni, did you meet the Lord? How Lord is doing? Is he taken care by all the Lakshmis and all those things Cobbler is asking. And then Nagmuni says, yeah, he's doing fine. He's, Paramapurush, so he's always taken care by lot of servants. And then the Lord, told that you will go back to Vaikuntha after this birth. And then Cobbler was so happy. Wow, that's really nice. But I also want to know what was Lord doing at the time when you asked the question. Cobbler was asking in a very submissive mood, and the Lord was saying, Nagmuni says, he was putting the elephant in the eye of the needle. Wow, the Lord can do anything. He's putting small the banyan seed. He can put the banyan tree inside. He says that afterwards, he can do anything because he's God. That's what Cobbler is saying. Don't you think how Lord can put the eye of the elephant in the eye of the needle? And the Cobbler says within a small seed there is a banyan tree which the Lord put in. And why can't the Lord put the elephant in the eye of the needle? So that is absolute faith. See, the Brahmana can read all the scriptures in Sanskrit and this and that, all pujas, yagyas. But if we get so much pride in our mind, what will happen? We lose our mind and we get puffed up. That's why Kunti Maharani prays, it said, Janma Ishwarya Sutastri. If you get born in a high family, and if you get more material opulence, if you get more learned, and if you become beautiful. So all these things becomes, obstacles in the path of devotion service. Also, Lord is, He's Patit Palan, He's Dina Bandhu. Once you've fallen, that's when He becomes a friend for you. But if you are, puffed up with all your material opulence and things like that, there's a high chance that you will never, get an opportunity to go back to Vaikuntha. So this is called absolute faith. And how will you develop this absolute faith? You can develop absolute faith by association with devotees. So, there are stages of bhakti, there are the process of bhakti, that is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Sparanam, but there are stages of bhakti. The creeper of bhakti, after receiving the seed from the spiritual master, grows. And each stage of the growth of the creeper, bhakti creeper, it starts with Shraddha, the faith. And once you have Shraddha, what happens? You come to a place like this and you meet with devotees. And when you meet with devotees, that's called Sadhu Sangha. And then when you meet with devotees, you don't talk about cricket, you don't talk about upcoming elections, you don't talk about stock market, you don't talk about, all the nonsense things that's going on in the big world outside. But what you do when you meet with devotees, you talk about the Lord. Machitta matkada prana bodayanda parasparam kadayantashramamityam tushyanti charananti cha. That the people who are devoted to me are determined in my service. Lord says that they will be talking about me all the time because that's more pleasing for them. And it's more pleasing for the Lord also when people talk about Him. So that's what happens when you meet with devotees, you do bhajana kriya. So when you do bhajan kriya, the next stage is anarthas will go away. All calm, krodh, lobh, moh, mada, machurya will go away. Once the anarthas go away, what will happen? Nishtha will happen, firm faith will come. So that's what Prabhupada says. I made the slides according to the purport what Prabhupada wrote in this verse. So each slide will, gradually go according to the purport. So Prabhupada says, faith can be developed or faith can be created by association of devotees. Association of devotees is very important in bhakti because you cannot do anything by yourself. You cannot do anything by yourself, You have to have some association. Even materially, you cannot do anything by yourself. You want to learn something, if you want to have a software language that you don't really know, some kind of Python, Selenium, you have to go to people who know about it, right? So you have to associate with them. Like that, in bhakti also, you need association of devotees, for which you have to come here and, go to places where there are pure devotees who are, always engaged in service of the Lord. So that is about faithful people. But Prabhupada also talks about faithless people in the purport. So who are all faithless people? In Bhagavad Gita in 7.15, anybody knows the verse? And there's a verse in 7. There are 4 kinds of people who don't want to come to Krishna. Who are grossly foolish, whose intelligence is stolen, and who are atheistic, and who are lowest of mankind. So, these people are all never goes to Krishna. And there are 4 kinds of people who goes to Krishna, but they are not devotees, who need wealth, who are in distress, who are very inquisitive, who wants to know about the Lord. They all go to Krishna. But when they go to Krishna, at that stage, they are only pious people. Prabhupada clearly explained, they are all pious people. Maybe we are also, including myself, we are maybe pious people because we go to Krishna with something, but we don't worry about what Krishna wants, we don't care about what Krishna wants. Of course, Krishna does not want anything from us, but he expects the love from us. So, those people are pious people, but the 4 kinds of people mentioned in the 15th verse are impious people. They are the lowest of the mankind. They are called Naradama. And also in the 2nd chapter, early in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 44th verse, Krishna says, Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam Taya Prakrita Chetasham Vyavaspatmika Buddhi Samadau Na Vidyate. So, people who have in their minds of those who are too much attached, too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, Bhoga and Aishwarya. Like Bhoga is, material enjoyment. I want to enjoy this, I want to eat ice cream, I want to hear music, all kinds of things, nice car, nice house, and all those things, all kinds of enjoyment and material opulence. If they're too much attached to that, they are bewildered by such things, and the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place in them. So they don't develop kind of faith that Krishna expects from us. So it's not that you should give up everything. You should have certain things in your life to maintain your body and soul together. But over-endeavoring, constantly thinking about those things, it's not recommended for bhakti. Because the way you can measure the progress in bhakti, I'll explain you this later. Because we have to progress. When I came to America, I was so and so salary at so and so date. But next year I have to make so much more. Next year I have to make so much more. I have to buy some nice home in a nice area. We always make progress in material life. Is it not? Which is awesome, yeah. Which is that's why we came to America from India, to make more money, to greener pastures. But like that, don't we think it's fair enough for us to make some progress in spiritual life too? Coming to Krishna consciousness, if we are chanting 4 rounds today, should I not think that tomorrow I should chant 5 rounds? Is that not fair enough? Or we should always be satisfied with those 4 rounds. We should always be satisfied with whatever we make this year too. We should not be making progress in material life too, right? But we are always making progress in our material life. But in spiritual life, we forget to think about how much progress we can make in spiritual life. Because we have to understand clearly, in Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ye yata mam prapatyante tam tasaiva bhajamyaham. How much ever you surrender to me, that much I reciprocate to you. So they say, if I am surrendering 50%, Krishna says, okay, I will give you 50%. But if I am surrendering 100%, Krishna says, I will take care of you. There is another verse in Bhagavad Gita says that, Ananyas chintayanto mam yejana pariyupashate tesham nitya abhiyuktanam yogakshemam mahamyaham. Yogakshemam mahamyaham means, I will carry what you lack and I will preserve what you have. Krishna gives a promise here for people who are always thinking of me. We think about Krishna once a week on Saturday evening. Of course, many people think Krishna in the morning, and, I agree, I go to job, I work with patients. What is the opportunity I have to think about Krishna there? Of course I can think like, part and parcel of Krishna is suffering, how can I help them? I feel like helping them, but I have a job, I'm in a different country, they are a different religion, I should keep quiet, I should not talk about religion and politics in workplace. Okay. So I'm not even able to be compassionate in work for the sufferings of people whom, suffering in front of me. So that's what, we should always be making some progress in Krishna consciousness. Like we should always aspire for more. Because at some point of life, we have to dedicate ourselves to Krishna. There should be some kind of Atma Samarpan, like, Atma Nikshepam, Atma Samarpan. We are kind of tied up with so many things, family, responsibility, father, mother, brother, sister, oh my gosh, right? Like, in India, if I call my mother, she'll give me a list of things, so you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this. And then, like, if I call my brother, hey, how are you doing? My brother talks more about Krishna consciousness, but there will be some material things too, here and there. But, yeah, we are all tied up, so we have to work on untying all these things at some point of time in our life. We have to always think about it, that fire should be there. Like how Prabhupada got the instruction from his spiritual master at the age of 23, but he came to America at the age of 69 or 70, but that fire was there in Prabhupada all the time. And every time he thought he will make his family steady and, involve them in spiritual life, he will have some success in the beginning and Krishna will take away everything. And every failure Prabhupada met, he moved closer one step to Krishna. He moved closer to Krishna. Finally, he had, Prabhupada is a very advanced devotee. We cannot say he had realization, but his life, why Krishna designed his life like that? To let us know that you cannot be happy in this material world. So all these people suffering, Pandavas are suffering, Prahlad Maharaj suffered. From our point of view, they all were suffering. Pandavas were suffering, calamity after calamity. But they are all pure devotees of Lord. Why do Krishna makes their life so hard? Because for us to know that this material world is no place for us. It is a place full of suffering. So we have to always strive for progressing in Krishna consciousness, somehow or the other. If people are not chanting, take to chanting. If people are chanting, increase your rounds. If people are increasing your rounds, try to chant without offense, offenseless chanting. Offenseless chanting means like once you say Krishna's name, Krishna will be there right in front of you. That's offenseless chanting. How many times we say Hare Krishna, like every day, like for people who are chanting 16 rounds, we say the Lord's name some 1700 times a day. 16 words into 16 rounds, like 16 words into 108 into 16. So around 1700, somewhere around 1700 times, and Krishna is not standing in front of us because we are chanting with so much offense. We have so much anarthas in us. We have to purify ourselves. That's why we have to chant in a mood. Amanina manadena kirtaniya sadaharihi. If you're not chanting in that mood, Krishna will not appear in front of us. And all perfection can be achieved by serving with complete conviction, complete faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am the servant of Krishna, and I have nothing to do in this material world, and Krishna is everything for me. That complete conviction should be there. And this is a nice verse that Prabhupada indirectly quotes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Hai. That means that you are not indebted to anybody in this material world, not your forefathers, not your father, mother, brother, sister. Nobody is going to question you. If you are root watering the roots, if you are dedicated to Krishna in this service. Like we can see in the life of Prabhupada's disciples, like they left their family, they left their whole, everything they had. Like some of them were very, very rich family. Like, Jayapatik Swami, they had like his grandfather is a big businessman in Wisconsin. And our own, Pandit Srivas Prabhu's spiritual master, Giriraj Swami, his father offered Prabhupada $1 million in 1970s for his son to come back to his business. Prabhupada, asked Giriraj Maharaj, like, you want to go? You go. Prabhupada said, like, Maharaj said, like, no, I'm not going. So the $1 million in 70s was a very big amount. So Maharaj's father was able to, I'll give you $1 million, please come back to me. Maharaj said no. So that much conviction they had, because, you can see many devotees like that. Like there was a Alfred Ford Prabhu, he's Amrish Prabhu. He's still serving, Prabhupada's mission. He's the chairman of Temple of Vedic Planetarium. And there was one more Mataji who's like Shravanti Mataji, is union leader's daughter. Her parents died in an accident, and huge chunk of money came from insurance company because both parents were insured, life insurance money. All the money, to put it all together, she came and gave it to Prabhupada. Prabhupada had it. Both parents died, and then they gave a huge chunk of money, so many thousands of dollars, hundreds and thousands of dollars, and she gave it to Prabhupada. And with that money and with some money from Amrish Prabhu, put it all together, they bought the Detroit Temple. Detroit Temple, if you go and see in Prabhupada quarters, the tiles in between the tiles, you won't see grout, you will see silver. In between the tiles, there is silver. That is the house of a person who owned the Cadillac company. So much opulence in that building. They had a huge building, it's like a huge garden and everything, but it's very hard for us to maintain now. It's at that point of time when Prabhupada bought this $50 million worth property. Prabhupada asked free, when negotiating, why don't you give it free? And they said, no, we cannot give it free. Prabhupada said, whatever amount, put it in the agreement, I'll come back and pay it off. Prabhupada, after coming back, Prabhupada, what Prabhupada, you made an agreement, there's no money, and what are you doing? We have no money with us now. Prabhupada said, Krishna will give. At the point Prabhupada was negotiating, Prabhupada didn't have any money. That much conviction Prabhupada had. So it's all about watering the roots. When we start serving Krishna, Krishna will give everything for us. And there is one quote by Bhakti Gita, if you keep everything in Krishna's hands, and you will see Krishna's hand in everything. But you have to keep everything in Krishna's hand, but to see Krishna's hand in everything. But we don't keep everything in Krishna's hand. We just keep a little bit. When there is a problem, we keep the problem in Krishna's hand. Right? I need something, I will keep that problem in Krishna's hand. And I want to see Krishna's hand in that problem to solve the problem. So including myself, we are all into this in the same boat, So, but what is complete faith? Like we talked about so much complete faith, but complete faith is directly proportional to the commitment we have in devotional service. Say, last week I was not here. What kind of commitment I have to the mission of Srila Prabhupada? Of course, I went to a friend's home, he's living close to a temple, and then he had a home to buy and housewarming, but we have to have some commitment. We have to make sure that we should show some commitment to Krishna's service and Prabhupada's mission. When you make a commitment, say Prabhupada once, there was a devotee asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I want to offer this to Krishna, and there are so many offerings going on in the temple, and I want to offer something extra to Krishna. Prabhupada said, yeah, you can do it, but make sure you make a commitment that you do that on everyday basis. Not just today you make something and keep it, and tomorrow you don't, it should not be like that. You make extra today, that extra should be extra every day. That's not, so that it doesn't become an extra. That's Prabhupada's, philosophy. So, and then tomorrow, that extra, whatever extra today is not going to be extra tomorrow, then Prabhupada would say, do something more extra the next day, so that extra becomes not extra the day after. So that is how it should be in devotional service. But what we do we do something today, the next day we don't do something, it's going downhill in our life, whereas it should go uphill. So how will you measure the progress in spiritual life? This is the key. the amount of happiness or the amount of progress you are making, your material life should go down, and your spiritual life is going up. That's the key. That's the yardstick for measuring the spiritual progress. You cannot say I will make progress in both together. That's not going to work. That's bogus philosophy. Prabhupada writes in Srimad Bhagavatam like that. I mean, it's hard for us to hear, but when you have a disease, and medicines are going to be bitter. Of course, in America they sweet coat a lot of things, medicines too, but the actual medicine isn't very bitter. And when you have a disease, you have to taste the bitterness. But yeah, so and again, like if you want to have Krishna's mercy, what is the sign of Krishna's mercy? Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking. Nadmuni, Mataji, how can I understand the mercy of Krishna? That's the question for Yudhishthira Maharaj. You put to Nadmuni or Bhishma Dev, I don't know. Krishna, the person who was asked the question replies back, Krishna's mercy is he's going to take away everything from you. Yasyaham anugratnami. There's a verse in Bhagavad Gita, not Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam 10th canto. 10:88:8, if you want to make a note of it. Read that verse. Yasyaham anugratnami. It starts with something like that. So, Krishna is called Hari. The meaning of Hari is he is going to steal. What does he steal? Not only your hearts, everything away. Abhahari, that's the meaning of Hari. So he's going to steal everything. And you'll be standing like a pauper, that's when Krishna lifts you up and puts you on the lap. But if you're attached to so many things in our life, Krishna will say, okay, keep those things, and I will be as much as you want me to in your life. Then you're on your own, I'm on my own. So that's complete faith should be there, and complete faith leads to what? Complete surrender. Complete surrender. In Draupadi's case, she was going one after another. She was in the court of Kurukshetra, in a cruise in Hastinapur, when she was dragged with her hair to the court of the Hastinapur, she was questioning everybody. She saw all her 5 husbands as slaves to the Kauravas, and then she goes to Dronacharya first, and then she goes to Kripacharya. Nobody speaks in favor of her. Even Bhishma Dev, who's very powerful personality in the court of Hastinapur, he is not even speaking about dharma there. He says dharma is like this, like that. It can be like this, can be like that. And she says, I am your, I am like your daughter-in-law. I am Kulavati. See the condition of me. They are trying to disrobe me, and nobody listens to her. Finally, what she does, she surrenders to Krishna. Govinda, that's how she called. And Krishna did not come with Astra, but he came with Vastra that time. She gave Vastra. She gave the sari to Draupadi. She was dishonored, but Krishna honored her at that time. So that's complete surrender. And people were trying to dishonor Draupadi, but imagine how much honor she received by Krishna's mercy. So we have to be very, very fallen to receive Krishna's mercy. We have to be at the very bottom, rock bottom. That's what they say, to get Krishna's mercy. So complete surrender. What is complete surrender? It starts with anukulyasya sankalpam, pratikulyasya varjanam. Right? You have to do things favorable for Krishna consciousness. And you have to reject things that is unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. So favorable things sometimes may not be very easy to do, but still we have to do it. Unfavorable things sometimes may not be easy to avoid, but still we have to avoid. So favorable thing is sometimes getting up early in the morning around 4:30 and go to Mangalarti or do Mangalarti in home. But it's not easy to do every day, right? But still we have to do that. That is anukulyasya sankalpam. Unfavorable things, sometimes we get, Hollywood, Bollywood, all those things. It's not easy to avoid, and because we are so much invested ourselves in those things. Maybe, practicing devotees don't do that, but still, for some people, coffee, tea, 7-Up, Coke, Coca-Cola, All these things are very difficult for some people to avoid. But still we have to avoid. That is pratikulyasya varjanam. Even though it is difficult for you to avoid, you still have to avoid. And then what happens if you do those two things? What will happen? You will develop rakshasya-titi vishvasho, that you will see Krishna is the protector, and no matter what happens, like how Draupadi stood in the court of Hastinapur, you will be like that. Krishna will protect you. And then kotrutva varanam tava, like he is going to be my shelter no matter what. Like Gajendra, 1,000 years he tried on himself, pulling here, pulling there, pulling here, pulling there. 1,000 celestial years, Gajendra was fighting with the crocodile. Finally, what happened? He, pulled a lotus from the pond, and he called, "Cause of all causes, please come and save me." That's the prayer Gajendra offered. So there is a nice saying in that, like he calls Adi Moolam, Adi Moolam means like he's the cause of all causes. When he said, first initially all Shiva, Brahma, everyone gets ready, he's calling me, and no, he didn't call you, he called Krishna. You know how Krishna went to save Gajendra? Like Krishna writes, on anytime he goes somewhere, he writes on Garuda, right? Like Garuda is the bird carrier of Krishna. But Garuda is chasing Krishna. Krishna is before Garuda there. All this, jewelry is in hair and everything in a haphazard way. Nothing was arranged in proper way. Like when Gajendra was, he left Sudarshan Chakra there in his home, Krishna's home. But how did the crocodile get killed? Because Krishna talked about, I have to kill the crocodile just by the desire, Icha Shakti. Sudarshan Chakra came from Vaikuntha and killed the crocodile. So that is surrender. You have to give yourself, Atma nikshepam, you have to throw yourself. Throw yourself at Krishna. Like in some temples, they don't let you go close to Krishna. So I don't know, in North India they have I've never been to so many places in North India, but I have heard people they throw flowers. So like that you have to throw yourself at Krishna. So that is complete faith. That is complete surrender. So anukulyasya sankalpam, pratikulyasya varjanam, rakshasya didi vishvasho, kotrutva varanam tava, karpanye atmanikshepam. Karpanye means you have to be the most fallen person. Like there is one pastime in life history of Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya goes to Tirumala Tirupati, where his maternal uncle is serving the Lord Balaji there. So his name is Tirumalai Nambi. So Tirumalai Nambi, he comes to welcome Ramanujacharya. He is one of the gurus of Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya had a guru called Yamunacharya, but Yamunacharya designated 6 people to instruct 6 different things to Ramanujacharya. So one of the 6 people is his own maternal uncle, and he comes down from Tirumala Tirupati down to receive Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya, why do you come? You send me somebody who's so, most Nietzsche person. Nietzsche means fallen, most person. And the Tirumala Tirupati, his maternal uncle is saying, who was supposed to be one of the gurus of Ramanujacharya, what he said, I went around the town to find somebody fallen, but I cannot find anybody fallen. I am the most fallen to come and receive you. So that's how much we should be. Like what we do, we get puffed up, some qualification, some kind of money we get, and we think so many people are around me. You guys are listening to me now. My head soul stirs up. It should not be like that. We should be always humble. Amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. You should be more tolerant than the tree, and more tolerant than blade of grass, and you should not expect respect from others, and you should be ready to give respect to the others. But what happens, when we go to some, satsang or temple, that person did not, even wish Hare Krishna to me, it's natural, we have those anarthas in us, we have to purify ourselves. So that is complete surrender. That's what means to be surrendered to God, right? And then Prabhupada in the purport, depending on the level of faith, he divides people, Krishna conscious devotees into 3 kinds of people. One is Kanishtatikari, that is the first, he calls a third class person. So the third class person is called Kanishtatikari, he is a neophyte devotee. So the neophyte devotee, what he does is attached to worship in temples. Okay, he thinks temple worship is the highest level of worship. That's proper devotional service, and he's very attached to that. All those things. He doesn't believe Krishna, exists everywhere, all pervading, and all those things. He doesn't believe in that. He is very much attached to deities in temples. And what he does, he has little faith, and that's why he's coming to temple. But he doesn't have more, understanding of knowledge of scriptures. He's very sentimental, I would say. We can put sentiment, like whatever. I like Kirtan so much, a nice tune, nice music. But it should not be like that. It should not be too sentimental. If you're too sentimental, that's third class person. And it's not like everyone has to start there. Someday or the other, everyone has to start there. Everyone has to pass through the stage of neophyte devotee. But Prabhupada strongly recommends, not only Prabhupada, all the acharyas are strongly recommending, don't get stuck at neophyte stage. Try to always progress from neophyte to the next level of bhakti. So, now faith in scriptures and all those things, and sometimes they may fall down. When you go to, you keep coming here, and one day you have some friends who come to your home and they want to have a party, and all the old things you start doing, there may be some fall downs in neophyte stage. There's bumpy up and down. And there may be some hidden motives. Like we see a lot of people, they take Krishna consciousness, come here, and then, they try to find some business clients. They find some, of course it happens, right? Probably we've seen a lot of people like that. So some people, they will come, and once their goal is achieved, they will not come after that. Like so far, people who are coming to ISKCON Indiana for quite some time, you would have seen some people would come for some time, and then they will not come, they will disappear after some time. We don't know what the exact reason is. One reason could be there is a hidden motive, and that motive is achieved, and here you go. I don't need ISKCON Indiana, I don't need any association of devotees, my goal is done. So that is there, and they may be attracted to other systems of yoga, like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, like all the yogas, they would start practicing that. That's kind of, neophyte stage. But what Prabhupada writes in the purport, once the infection of those things are cured, then they will be strong in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada calls them an infection. See, he's calling them already they're diseased, and on top of that, you get one more infection. It's quite common, like when you go to, healthcare industry, they will come with some kind of disease. Coming to hospital, they will acquire hospital-acquired pneumonia. There is a condition called hospital-acquired pneumonia. They already will have something like UTI or something like that. Coming to hospital, then they will have one more pneumonia, so one more infection. So already we are diseased in the material world, and with all the yogas and this and that, we get another infection. So that we have to take medicine for that. And what happens is, he thinks so high of himself, the neophyte devotee. Yeah, I'm going to, ISKCON Indiana, like that. Like he is so, proud of himself, So, it happens, like a lot of people, one point of time I was like that. Yeah. So that's Kanishtatikari. But, the take-home message is, everyone has to someday or the other start at Kanishtatikari. Of course, we all can consider ourselves as Kanishtatikari at this time, but we should not get stuck in that Kanishtatikari level. We should always strive to advance from Kanishtatikari to the next level. That's the second class devotee. So second class devotee is Madhyamadikari. He's in between. Like three things, like bronze, silver, and gold. We just got the Olympics done, right? So fresh in our memory. So you have to start at the bronze level, you have to progress to silver, and from silver you have to go to gold. But that's the thing. But Madhyamadikari is silver. So he has some firm faith. He believes in Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he believes that I am the servant of Krishna and all those things. but his spiritual knowledge is not that complete. He does not have a complete understanding in spiritual scriptures. He's trying. He reads Srimad Bhagavatam, and he takes instruction from his spiritual master. He tries to follow the orders of the spiritual master. He tries all those things, but he does not have a very complete understanding in Krishna consciousness. And there won't be any fall down, because there is no hidden motive here. There is no, he tries to avoid all the unwanted things in his life. Asat Sangatya, E Vaishnava Cha. Prabhupada says, what is the Lakshana of a Vaishnava? Not Prabhupada. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has asked this question: what is the Lakshana of a Vaishnava? How can I identify a Vaishnava? Vaishnava can be identified by the fact that when he is, sacrificing the Asat Sang, whoever is not connected to Krishna consciousness, if you sacrifice their association, that is the first Lakshana of Vaishnava. Asat Sangatya E Vaishnava Cha. So these are words of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, words of the Lord himself. So when he is avoiding those kind of things, there is no question of fall down. Where is it going to be? Of course, fall down can happen anytime. Maya is very, very strong. Maya is very, very strong that she can use any kind of trick to trick you. That's her job. Imagine there is a person who was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all the time, Kala Krishna Das. People who are reading Chaitamrita would come across this person, Kala Krishna Das. 24 hours association with the absolute supreme personality of Godhead. What else do you want in your life? But he gets attracted by women and goes away from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Imagine how strong Maya can be. 24 hours association with the Lord himself, and he goes away. Kala Krishna Das. So, we cannot guarantee any time that there's not going to be fall down, but it's not common in Madhyamadhikari. He is very firmly fixed in Krishna consciousness. And he's always willing to progress to the next stage of devotional service. That's Madhyamadhikari. And Uttamadhikari got absolute faith. There is no question of, you believe in Krishna. Imagine one time, I was talking to my, friends, they are very strong devotees of Parthasarathi in Chennai. Parthasarathi is Krishna. That's the only place where you can see Krishna with a mush. He has a big mush in Parthasarathi temple. Because the king who made tapasya to see Krishna as he was in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Krishna appeared in front of him with a mush as he was, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Very nice temple, and even imagine Ramanujacharya's parents went to the temple, offered prayers, and they got Ramanujacharya's mother conceived Ramanujacharya in her womb after going to the temple. Very powerful temple, very big temple. Even today, if you happen to go to Chennai, this is the must-go place. Not Marina Beach, not Spencer Plaza, so many malls and things like that. Of course, you can go, but make this as the first in the list. Not Parthasarathi temple in Chennai. One of the Vedavyāsapriya in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya have 108 principal temples, and this temple is one among the 108 temples. Very nice temple. So why did I talk about this temple? I went off track, sorry. So where was I? Parthasarathi. Okay. So these people, my friends' parents, were they would go and stand in line for hours together to get darshan of Parthasarathi. And every year, every month, they were so much attached to Parthasarathi. And then, when I was kind of, thinking, they will be more open to all these things, and I was telling them, try to avoid onion, garlic in your cooking, cook prasadam, offer to Krishna. You have to, improve yourself from that sentimental level. More, put more philosophy, read Bhagavad Gita in your practice and things like that. But they said, after, listening to me for quite some time, oh, do you believe in all these things? But these people would stand in line for hours together to get darshan of Lord. But when you add little philosophy to their life, they are getting more shaky and nervous. They don't want to believe all these things. That is how much the faith is. It happened here in Cobbler. I'm saying they came from India, so we went to meet them. But what can I do? There's nothing I can do. But what can anybody do if you have a mindset like that? Oh, do you believe in all those things? I was shocked when they asked me, why do? I didn't really comprehend at that time. I was little new. I was very pushy, aggressive, that everyone should take this. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so that is the way the people are. They are very sentimental, but when you add these things into their sentiment, it's not nice for them. Because Prabhupada said, famously, Prabhupada can be quoted here. What he said was, religion without philosophy is a sentiment. And philosophy without religion is mental speculation. I will repeat, religion without philosophy is sentiment or fanaticism. And philosophy without religion is mental speculation. How nice, Prabhupada puts these things to make us understand. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. And this person, Uttamadhikari, is always thinking of Krishna, always thinking of how he can, serve the mission of the Lord. What is the mission of the Lord? That everyone should go back to Godhead. That's the mission of Lord. That's why Lord himself comes here, to attract the minds of devotees, to take them back home. Lord does not come here to give us, so many millions of dollars and all these things. No, Lord comes here to take us back with him to Vaikuntha. That's what happened in Ayodhya, right? Ayodhya people, they all went with Lord Ramchandra back to Ayodhya Dham in spiritual world. He didn't leave anyone back here. Of course, there were people who want to live here. Okay, there was an evacuation plan going on, so some people chose to be here, so they ended up being here. I don't think anyone, Mataji, I don't think that happened. Ayodhya Dham, everyone went back. That's Lord Ramchandra. And then Uttamadhikari is always engaged in spreading the message of the Lord. What did Prabhupada do? Why did Prabhupada take so much pain to write all these books at the age of 70, 75? Can someone, we should take at least a couple of minutes to think about these things. He could have established big Radha Krishna temples and, worship. But he took so much pain to write these books. Take a couple of minutes every day to think about why would Prabhupada burn his midnight oil to write all these books. That should be our question. Because Prabhupada was very much into spreading the message of the Lord. He said Bhagavad Dharma and Sangin, both should go. The spreading of the message of the Lord and worship of the Lord are like parallel tracks, like railroads. You should go together. So that's why we go out, distribute books, meet new people. This Bhagavad Gita have changed a lot of people's lives. We can see. My own Guru Maharaj came to Krishna consciousness by reading Krishna book. And I can say, I can go on giving examples like that. This one is Bhakti Gita Maharaj. He was in Ireland, he went to somebody's home and he saw a book called Krishna. He was so curious and he took the book and he read the book and he saw the address and he went to he went to Bhakti Vedanta Manor. And that day, Krishna's plan, it snowed heavily and he couldn't get out of the temple. He ended up staying in the temple. The next day, 4:30, everyone woke up, took cold shower and started dancing. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And my Guru Maharaj is saying, wow, this is life. People are so happy, 4:30 in the morning. They're singing, dancing. Wow. This should be my life too. That's what he thought. Imagine when you're singing happily and dancing at 4:30 in the morning, you're not going to think that you're crazy because you're singing for Lord. People are singing and dancing all night up to 4 o'clock in the morning. They are crazy in the person dance clubs. But what changed his life? That Krishna book changed his life. A book changed his life. And there is one more anecdote I like to share. There was a person in the prison, and he saw some Back to Garden magazine torn apart or something like that in the trash can. And in that small piece of paper or something, he saw Prabhupada's watch. I think it was a Rolex watch. And he was a thief by profession, and he put all the torn pieces together, and he got a picture of Prabhupada, and he came to know where he is. And soon after he came out of the prison, he went to the temple to see Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was not there. And he inquired and went all the way where Prabhupada was. And then he was always looking at the watch sitting in front of Prabhupada. And Prabhupada knew this kind of new person looking at me in a curious way, in a peculiar way. And he called him and asked, "What do you want?" "I came to steal the watch, Prabhupada." Prabhupada took the watch and gave it to him. And this devotee is still serving Prabhupada's mission in India, I think in Juhu, Mumbai. I don't know the name of the devotee, but he's still alive and he's still serving the Lord's mission.
Haridas Prabhu. His name is Haridas Prabhu.
Oh, really?
Haridas,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, what made the difference? There was a small piece of paper with Prabhupada's arm with the watch. That's how much powerful these books are. These are like time bombs. We never know when they will explode. There is somebody who would say, "Okay, I will give Bhagavad Gita only to people who like to read. I don't want to waste Bhagavad Gita." No, we never know when this book will make a difference in their life. Maybe not in their life, maybe in somebody else's life. If I get a book and I give it to somebody else, that person may be benefited. That's how Vaisheshika Prabhu became disciple of Prabhupada. One of his friends got him a book and left it as a doorstep, and he left because he kept knocking the door. "Hey, I met so many, Hare Krishnas in the street, and I got some books for you because you're so much interested in all these things." And Prabhu didn't want to meet him because he was doing something in meditation, having candle or something inside the room locked up. And soon after that person left, Prabhu was so curious, he opened the door and he took the books, read all the books in 1 week. End of the week, he went to San Francisco or whatever, nearby temple, and asked the devotees, "Where is Srila Prabhupada? I want to meet him." And they said, "Who do you think Prabhupada is? He's traveling all around the world, and you cannot meet him just like that." Then he joined the temple, started serving, and now look at Vaisheshika Prabhu. So that is how much these books are. So Uttamadhikari is always thinking about spreading the message of Lord. So that's Uttamadhikari. And there is no question of, fall down. There was a typo, I'm sorry. There was no question of fall down in Uttamadhikari because it's spontaneous devotional service. Where is the question of fall down? Okay, so this is Uttamadhikari, but why do Acharyas write all these things? We are saying like everyone should be treated equal, there should not be any discrimination, we should not, discriminate these people, those people, we should be all inclusive and all those things, but Acharya is saying we should discriminate depending on their faith, depending on what they are towards Krishna, how they are serving Krishna. Because in Nectar of Instruction, I think Pandit Prabhu a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks ago, he talked about how can there be an exchange of love between devotees? The relationship, I think you talked about it, right? Like in a relationship there should be exchange of love. But like the exchange of love happens with, Rupa Goswami writes 6 different things. So giving gifts, accepting gifts, serving prasadam, accepting prasadam, honoring prasadam, and then revealing one's mind, and then getting instructions, revealing, like you have to reveal your mind to a devotee, and that devotee also have to reveal their mind. So these are 6 exchanges. But for these 6 exchanges to happen, you should know where you are, and you should know which level of adhikar you are, and act according to that level. Because if you do not know, you may think like, I am also Uttamadhikari, and start acting in that way, you are making an offense. So you have to know who you are, where you are in devotion service, and according to that you have to act. There should be proper Vaishnava etiquette. Like if you are in a neophyte stage, you should, like a devotee should always make friends at the same level of devotees. If I have neophyte, like if I'm at neophyte level, then I should be making friends with them. And if somebody is coming higher up coming, I should pay off obeisances to them. I should pay respects to them. But if somebody is at the middle level, you should be more compassionate towards the people who are down. You should be able to lift them up. But at the same time, you should be avoiding people who are envious. The Madhyamadhikari people should not be preaching to envious people. Shastras and Acharyas do not recommend that. They should avoid the envious people, Madhyamadhikari. And then Uttamadhikari people, they see everyone equal. Pandita Samadarshina, like Bhakti Gita says, like dog eater, everyone are same for Uttamadhikari. In that case, a Uttamadhikari cannot preach. So, people like Prabhupada, they came down for the sake of saving us from Uttamadhikari level to Madhyamadhikari, to lift us up. So when you're seeing everybody equal, then what is the point of preaching there? There is no preaching going on in Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is the place where there is no preaching. This preaching is meant for material world. Whom are you going to preach in Vaikuntha? Nobody, everyone are serving, everyone are surrendered souls. So there is no preaching in Vaikuntha. So all these Uttamadhikari people, they belong to that level. So for them to preach, they have to step down from their level to Madhyamadhikari and start preaching. So then, I don't want to bore you all with my just talking. I have somebody special here, and let him talk a little bit, and you can listen to him.
Sound is not
You can increase the volume.
Just go to WhatsApp.
Yeah, it's okay. It's good.
In the pastime of Sakshi Gopal, this Brahmana, he quotes in the assembly that Ei Vakya Achyamara Sakshi Mahajan Yarvakya Satyapuri Mani Tribhuvan. That yes, I may not have Janma Aishwarya Shuddha Shri, but I have one property, and that property is I have faith in the words of Krishna. Yarvakya Satyapuri Mani Tribhuvan. My only possession are the words of the Shastras, the words of Krishna, the words of the Vaishnavas. And the words emanating from the lotus lips of the Vaishnavas, they become my property. And therefore, Ei Vakya Achyamara Sakshi Mahajan, Yar Vakya Satyapuri Mane Tribhuvan. And so Prabhupada says, I went to the Western countries with no possession, with no money, with no property, with no influence, with no contacts. So one may think, what is the greatest attainment? The greatest attainment is not to have all of these achievements. If we do not have any of these achievements, any of these privileges, any of these properties, but if one simply has faith in the words of Krishna and faith in the words of Krishna's devotees, that faith is the greatest property. That faith is the greatest attainment. And therefore, Yaravakya Satyapuri Mane Tribhuvan. And the human form of life is ultimately meant to nurture that faith. And the satsang of the Vaishnavas exist exclusively for the purpose of helping us grow that faith. And that's why we have made so many choices in life, made so many sacrifices in life to get connected to that association of devotees, so that this faith or Shraddha can be grown and increased and expanded.
So when we plan things in our life, plan in such a way that you can always aspire for association of devotees who are more in elevated state. Like, if you're not doing that, like we strive so hard to go to places like, Disney World, Smoky Mountains, Yellowstone, Universal Studios, there's so many in the list, but in my office they talk about bucket list. The bucket list. What do you have in the bucket list? Fall break is coming up, and I have to do more PR work to save more money, and then I'll go to one of the things in my bucket list. But I sincerely pray and I sincerely wish everyone have something in your life that you should aspire for association of devotees who have dedicated their life for the for the mission of Krishna consciousness. There are so many people, Prabhupada disciples, whom a lot of people don't even know that they exist. Like last weekend we went to Prabhupada village, and in that place it's a group of Prabhupada disciples. I didn't even know they exist before we were going there. Like imagine there is a person, Prabhupada disciple named Sivananda Prabhu, who was the first person to go to Germany during the wartime to preach Krishna consciousness. Imagine the conviction he had on holy name, that at the time there was a Berlin Wall, he was not allowed to go inside the East Germany and preach, because East Germany is complete communist, controlled by Russia. So you cannot preach any religion in East Germany. So what would this Prabhu do? He would be standing near the wall in the West Germany and chant the holy name so loudly, so somebody in the East Germany can hear that. And imagine, how much conviction and dedication these people have. So we have to look for those people. If you're sincere, Krishna will show those people in our life. And when you associate with those people, then you'll definitely progress in. Like just the same thing in material things, right? When somebody is, rich or something, then we try to associate with them so we can also become rich. It's natural, Then we have to associate with these people who are rich in Krishna consciousness, so we also can be rich in Krishna consciousness. So association with people who are higher than us is always, going to be very helpful, and that's what we should all aspire for. Not the mundane bucket list. Of course, we can do here and there, but our priority should be, there's no balance here, it's always a priority. You should always have number one, number two, number three. Some people talk about balance, but personally I don't believe in balance. You should always have priority. Because balance means you put 1 foot here, 1 foot here, and you have two boats, and one boat you put 1 foot and one boat you put 1 foot, and you're trying to balance both boats. When there is a storm or something happens, you don't know where you are, you don't know where the boats are. That's what happened in last week in Helene. Hurricane came. Like people don't even know where they are right now. So there's no balance. You should know which boat to get in first and which boat is the important boat, and try to sail in that boat. So that should always be priority in our life. So I will stop here, and then if you have any questions, comments, and protests, please be free to do those things. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpada rupasya kripa sindhu piyavacha paritanam pavanasthu vaishnavyo. I think if Jagannath Prabhu was here, he would have alerted me, you are going over time. The company does not pay overtime here. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai.